There was a time when the promise felt simple. Work hard, play by the rules, your life will improve. That promise built the American dream. It shaped suburbs, retirement plans, college aspirations, and generational hope. Now millions of Americans are asking a painful question: if I'm working harder than ever, why am I still stuck? This is not laziness. It's not entitlement. It's not a lack of ambition. It's structural. Across cities like New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago, the cost of living has surged. Rent climbs, home prices explode, healthcare bills shock, college tuition suffocates. Meanwhile, wages, they move but slowly, often slower than inflation. What rises quickly isn't income from work. What rises quickly is income from ownership. And that is where the frustration begins. The shift no one talks about clearly. Modern capitalism has quietly shifted its center of gravity. The 20th century rewarded labor. The 21st century rewards capital. If you own shares in companies like Apple, Amazon, or Tesla 15 years ago, your wealth likely multiplied. If you owned property in San Francisco before the tech boom accelerated housing prices, your net worth soared. But if you only relied on a paycheck, you may have been running hard without moving far. This is the uncomfortable reality. The system increasingly rewards those who own assets more than those who sell their time. The feeling that the game is rigged. Among millennials and Gen Z, especially in the United States, a powerful sentiment has emerged. The game is rigged. Their parents often bought homes on a single income. Today, two incomes can struggle to qualify for a mortgage. Student debt lingers for decades. Healthcare can bankrupt families. Retirement feels uncertain. At the same time, stock indexes like the S&P 500 have delivered enormous long-term growth. So the message feels obvious. If you own assets, you participate in growth. If you don't, you watch from the sidelines. That divide doesn't just create inequality, it creates resentment. Why this is happening? This widening gap is not accidental. It is the product of multiple forces converging over decades. 1. Cheap money and asset inflation. After the 2008 financial crisis, institutions like the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates dramatically to stabilize the economy. Low interest rates make borrowing cheaper. Cheap borrowing fuels asset purchases. Asset purchases drive prices up. Stocks rose. Real estate rose. Venture capital surged. Who benefited most? Those who already owned assets. If you had little capital to begin with, you benefited far less. The policy wasn't designed to widen inequality, but its side effects did exactly that. 2. Globalization and automation. Manufacturing jobs moved overseas. Automation replaced mid-skill labor. Digital platforms concentrated value in fewer companies. Technology giants including Google and Meta generated extraordinary wealth, but the distribution of that wealth became increasingly concentrated among founders, executives, investors, and shareholders. The middle-class wage engine slowed. Capital accumulation accelerated. 3. Tax structure and incentives. In many advanced economies, capital gains are taxed at lower rates than labor income. In plain language, money earned from investments often receives more favorable treatment than money earned from work. This creates a powerful structural incentive: build capital, because capital builds itself. Meanwhile, labor income remains directly tied to hours worked. Time is finite. Capital scales. The psychological impact. Inequality is not just an economic statistic. It's emotional. It changes how people see their future. When housing feels unattainable, people delay starting families. When wages stagnate, stress rises. When opportunity feels unequal, trust in institutions declines. Political polarization intensifies. Social cohesion weakens. Economic frustration transforms into cultural tension. And underneath it all sits one silent fear: what if hard work is no longer enough? The myth of hard work alone. Hard work still matters deeply, but hard work without ownership has diminishing returns in an asset-driven economy. If your entire income goes toward living expenses, you have no surplus to invest. No investment means no asset accumulation. No assets mean no participation in capital growth. And the cycle repeats. This is why two people earning similar salaries can end up in radically different financial positions over time. One consumes, one owns. The difference compounds. Is the system broken? The answer is complex. Capital markets fuel innovation. They fund startups. They scale ideas globally. Without capital incentives, technological progress would slow dramatically. The problem isn't that markets exist. The problem is uneven access. If access to ownership, financial literacy, and investment tools is limited to a minority, inequality becomes structural. The system is not inherently evil, but it is not neutral either. It amplifies advantages. What can be done? Real solutions, not slogans. Anger is understandable, but strategy is more powerful. Here are realistic pathways forward at both systemic and individual levels. 1. Democratizing asset ownership. Technology has already lowered entry barriers. Retail investing platforms now allow fractional share purchases. Individuals can invest small amounts into markets like the New York Stock Exchange without needing thousands of dollars. But access without education is incomplete. Practical systemic steps include financial literacy education starting in schools, employee stock ownership programs, incentives for long-term investment participation, lower barriers to small-scale entrepreneurship. The goal is not to eliminate capitalism, but to broaden participation in it. 2. Shifting from income thinking to ownership thinking. Most people are trained to ask, how do I get a raise? Fewer ask, how do I build assets? Ownership doesn't only mean stocks. It can mean equity in a small business, intellectual property, real estate, digital platforms, brand equity, online audiences. In the digital age, even content creators can build scalable assets. The economy is evolving. Participation must evolve with it. 3. Policy reforms for stability. Extreme inequality eventually destabilizes economies. Potential structural reforms include balanced taxation structures, affordable housing expansion, reskilling initiatives for displaced workers, healthcare cost reform, support for small and medium enterprises. This is not about punishing success. It is about maintaining long-term economic equilibrium. History shows that when inequality grows unchecked, instability follows. 4. Investing in human productivity. The next decades will be shaped by artificial intelligence, green technology, biotechnology, digital infrastructure. Workers must adapt. Reskilling programs, vocational pathways, and public-private partnerships can bridge gaps. The future economy will reward high-leverage skills. Those without access to retraining risk permanent displacement. Individual strategy in an unequal system. While systemic reform takes time, individuals cannot afford to wait. Practical strategies include reduce high-interest debt, build an emergency fund, begin investing consistently even in small amounts, develop high-demand skills, build scalable side income streams, prioritize ownership over status consumption. This isn't glamorous, it's disciplined, but discipline compounds. The hard truth: inequality will not disappear in 5 years. Asset inflation cycles may slow, but structural advantages remain powerful. There are generally 2 reactions to this reality: permanent resentment, strategic adaptation. Resentment feels justified. Adaptation creates leverage. If the system rewards ownership, long-term survival requires becoming an owner in some capacity, even slowly, even modestly, even imperfectly. A forward-looking perspective. Despite its flaws, the United States remains one of the most innovative economies in the world. Social mobility may be slower than decades ago, but it is not extinct. Every technological revolution has created new classes of wealth creators. The industrial era built manufacturing fortunes. The internet era created digital billionaires. The AI era will produce new forms of capital ownership. The question is not whether opportunity exists. The question is who positions themselves to capture it. Work plus ownership equals power. Work builds skill. Ownership builds leverage. Work without ownership leads to exhaustion. Ownership without work leads to fragility. The combination builds resilience. Economic inequality is real. Frustration is valid. The system is imperfect. But the response cannot only be outrage. It must include strategy, because in an asset-driven world, the ultimate shift is psychological. Stop being only a consumer. Start becoming a builder. Start becoming an owner. That shift multiplied across millions is how inequality narrows over time. The game may feel unfair, but understanding the rules is the first step toward changing your position within it.